Well, this is a bit of a change for me. Hey, non-existent audience, it's Skwatter back with another Ramble. And this is probably the most editing and splicing and probably the most creative thing I've done in a very long time. I felt I needed to do something extra with this game now that the Switch version was translated, and I found a walkthrough of it on YouTube that had it as officially translated as you would think. It's very bare bones. It's not like it necessarily tells you who's speaking. It doesn't have, which is what I added into my subtitles, and I also made them different colors for each of the characters. Yeah, like this. So I thought that this could be a fun little undertaking, and I because I was thinking, since I did have a firm grasp of the storyline and what was being said because of the official Switch translation, I was thinking at first maybe I would just transcribe it word for word as subtitles into this version of the game, and that would be it. I mean, it would be. I probably would have had it done in the span of an hour or so if that were the case. But what I decided to do instead was just basically have at her. I was thinking, maybe I didn't want to just have it be random, like swear words and profanity and stuff like that, like just joke after joke after joke. I wanted to kind of keep the storyline somewhat cohesive and intact. So that's what I did for the most part. I make a lot of meta references, a lot of potty humor, vulgarity, and things like that. I didn't want it to be just profanity and swear after swear, right? And I kind of sort of flew by the seat of my pants as I was doing this. I had the upload of the Switch playthrough playing during the cutscenes, and I would sort of interpolate what was being translated, and then I would put it into my own words, as well as add, humor and stuff into it. And this video, I think it's got a handful of views. I'm not really sure, honestly, what gets views, honestly, because that one Dungeon Explorer 2 video, certainly compared to other videos of mine, blew the hell up, and so I'm not necessarily sure if this is going to have any effect on it. I think it's the game compilation for the Switch could be a couple years old, or maybe it's most recent. I had never heard of it until a week and a half or so ago when I started playing the game on the PC Engine CD. Now, a funny thing with that, when I was trying to set it all up and record it in RetroArch, for some reason, of course, I needed to use Beetle PCE Fast in order for the cheats to work, which just confounds me, honestly. I have no idea why Beetle PCE Fast and Beetle PCE Super Graphics work perfectly fine with cheats, but Beetle PCE Fast, by default, that version of the emulator, just can't do it. I have no idea why, which it confused the hell out of me, and it slowed down my upload schedule, because I honestly wanted to play a whole lot of games on the TurboGrafx CD emulated through RetroArch, but for some reason, like, I could just never get the cheats working, and I was just pulling my hair out. Like, I couldn't figure it out, right? Like, why would these people code cheats for emulators that they just did not function with? And I had a hell of an experience trying to play Silent Hill. Like, I wanted to play that game before a lot of these other ones that I just decided to basically hop into the TurboGrafx CD and do all of those games. I would try to. I think I would use Duck Station maybe, because I have several different versions of RetroArch, and they're like 110, 112, 14, 16, and then the most recent one, at least from more recent times, I guess, is 1.190. Uh, and I've noticed, which is the reason why I keep the multiple versions of the emulators, is because certain emulators just aren't supported anymore. Like Swan Station for the PlayStation isn't supported anymore. Like Duck Station is, but not Swan Station. And I think there's another PS2 emulator that is no longer supported in more recent versions of RetroArch. So that's why I have all these different iterations of the same program. So, but usually I play almost everything on RetroArch 1.16. Yeah. No, I was very surprised that it took me so long to remember that there was the sliding move that you can do there. Kind of not super obvious, because it's like, why would you think that you would be able to clear chasms just by sliding, you know? But no. Now this is kind of weird, because like this game was released in 1991, and in North America they had Valis 2 and 3, which, I mean, this is sort of a remake of the first game, but I mean, that was, you still had a good 2 years before the Turbo Duo was declared dead in North America. So I really have no idea why they didn't release this back in the day. I mean, it would have been literally one of the quickest little things that you would ever have to do. I mean, I don't think that there's other than the credits opening and closing, I don't think that there's a single instance of kanji or katakana or hiragana font that you would need to translate into Latinized alphabet, right? And you could have the goofy voice actors that TurboGrafx CD games were very famous for having back in the day, which I thought would have been cool. But I was thinking of actually using an AI, like a Parrot AI, which is what I'm most familiar with, a Parrot AI, and I would type in like the dialogue. This was back when I was thinking of just doing a straightforward translation and not adding any of my commentary or jokes into it, and I would have like the bad guy is like Joe Biden or something, or Barack Obama, and I'd have I'm not familiar with most of the voices there, but I was thinking of like having Reiko be AOC or something like that, and yeah, that honestly didn't pan out, and I thought that it would kind of just sound more awkward and jilted, more so than anything else. So I just basically decided to hammer into it and just pepper all of my. This is the kind of humor that I like. The thing with Reiko is that later on in the game, when you meet her and she's the warrior of darkness, the rhyming in her lines of dialogue just kind of came naturally. Like I thought that I would just use it maybe once. Yeah. No, but then I'm just like, why not just suddenly make it a like a stereotype of her or something? Like she, like every single thing would be like a rhyming stanza, and it'd be so super awkward, and it wouldn't make any sense, and they would self-referentially comment on it, like what Yuko does sometimes, and after their big fight, which is what the footage is getting to as of this point, she stops rhyming, and she talks about how she doesn't need to rhyme anymore, because like that was like an evil side of her doing that, and I just thought that would be funny, because like down like a clown, Charlie Brown, I usually like saying things like that in my real life socializing there. So and then I'm not even really sure like they said that they needed 5 gems, and so there was the Gaida, there was the green bird lady, and then the guy that I called Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and I guess then there was the flaming dog, uh, the Buddha-looking guy with 4 arms, and then there's this weird mechanical soldier guy. So I'm not necessarily sure which end level bosses actually give you which Phantasm gem, because there seems to be more than 5 bosses, right? Like even without Reiko and Rogals, and believe me, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, because it just seemed in the North American releases of Valis 2 and 3, like they would call him Rogals, Dorogals, Rogless, Dorogles, like the rogueless king, the robeless king, as if it was like a robe, like with B instead of G. Like I have, and I don't even think they knew what they were saying at that point, right? So, but yeah, no, like this, I thought that this would be really easy and I could knock it off in a single night, but no, it took me actually several hours over the course of 3 nights when I wasn't busy or doing something else in order to use literally the worst video editing software in existence, Cyberlink Power Director 19, keeps saying, hey, you can upgrade, but then they want me to pay more. And like, I don't know, man. People call me cheap and stuff like that, but I already purchased your program, right? Like, it's not an upgrade. You just want me to buy it again, right? I don't know, man. I find that really, really weird. I volume check, yeah. No, believe me, it blew out my headphones because I wasn't expecting it at the time. But so it was certainly a an escapade in translating and writing, and it got my mind running for a good long while, because in recent years in my free time, it's kind of just like vegetating and stuff like that, which I don't like doing, honestly. I hated the fact that it took me 8 days to upload this, right? I really want to have a more regular upload schedule, regardless of what I'm doing in any other aspect of my life, because yeah, as I said in previous rambles, it took me practically 3.5 years to beat a single game, from late 2019 to mid 2023. Almost 4 years, and that's a travesty, as I've always said. So I don't want to go back to that. So because it's so easy to just sit by and watch YouTube videos and just sit there and vegetate and find somebody else. I've been recently getting into LGR because I really like old computers and software and hardware and stuff like that. It reminds me of my youth, because my first computer, as I've stated before in other rambles, is Macintosh LC520, and we used to have NEC computers with Windows 95 and DOS on them at my parents' place and at my school too, and everything. And we were raised off of that sort of thing, So I basically went through all the 9X's, a lot of the earlier Apple operating systems, and we did have a bit of Linux in there, Mandrake Linux, with a program called Conqueror, which is how you would browse the internet, and I'm not even sure if that's even still around. I decided that it was weird that I ended the last ramble on such a jarring, sudden note, so I know that this video is 15 minutes and 54 seconds long, give or take, so that's what I'm going to try and do. Probably won't succeed at it, but I'll try, But yeah, no, so for these credits, I wanted to try and have either titles or subtitles that would kind of climb along with the kanji font across the screen, but I couldn't figure out how to do it, so I just decided to utilize the simple subtitle function there. And whenever you see the tilde keys and the gray color, that's me just inserting my commentary as a self-insert. And whenever you see stars, like asterisks next to the subtitles, that means that people are thinking. So I probably should have said that earlier, but, that's life, that's the nature of a ramble, But, yeah, Miss Blue, I don't know who that is. It's funny, like, why are there just random English letters and Latin characters just peppered into what is supposed to be a Japanese game, It's like you never see that in North America. But, yeah, I hope the non-existent audience likes this, and anybody else who sees it, I hope you don't get offended, so I'm just having fun. Peace. It's Skwatter, and I'm done. Bye-bye. Hi. It's me, Skwatter, again, just calling out into the ether, out to the non-existent audience here, but I experienced something just after uploading the first version of this ramble, just maybe only about half an hour or so after that upload, and it seemed that, and I had known that there was a Valis 4 English dub done by a guy named Evening Tennis 4437. I didn't know anything about it. I had downloaded it a while ago. I had not touched it. I had not run it or played it or anything like that, because it just it wasn't in the sequential order. I wasn't interested in it, and I only had started thinking about it once I started playing the first game. As it turns out, unbeknownst to me, uploaded to CD Romance in late June of this year, there is an English dub of this first game that I just played through and translated and put all my subtitles in, and I was just like, wow, I had no idea. It's not included in the filtered results when you go to CD Romance and you type in TurboGrafx CD English dubs. It's not there. You can only find it in the normal search when you just search basic default TurboGrafx CD PC Engine CD games. So I downloaded it. I ran it on RetroArch, and what I experienced was nothing short of esoteric. I don't know how to explain it. It was the weirdest thing. That the voice is like the... How do I be concise about this? The voices were... It almost sounded as if... I'll just come right out and say it. I think that whoever did this, whether it's Evening Tennis 4437, who did the Valis 4 dub, he also said that he would be doing the Valis 1 dub. This is coming from a Reddit TurboGrafx thread, Valis 4 English translation. I had been reading about that, and I thought that it would be pretty cool if he did, because he didn't post about it, or at least I didn't see myself any post about whether or not he had completed the first game in the series. But I played it, and I would have to say that whoever's responsible, it seems to me, and I'm not a smart man, but it seems to me that they are using an AI to both translate what is spoken and to speak it back. Because what I hear being spoken in English and how it is spoken with how the voices sound, I don't believe that these are human beings doing this, right? I think that whoever made these two dubs is using some kind of an AI I don't know how complex it is. I don't know how deep it goes into the game's code or programming or whatever. But I mean, you're just gonna to the non-existent audience and to anybody who could hear this ramble and who has the tolerance to listen to it to the end. Download these. I'm telling you, download them, run them, play them. Honestly, like listen to what's being said, how it's being said, by who. Just listen to how broken and fractured and out of this world it sounds like. That's why I'm saying that it's got to be an AI. Like people were commenting like on both the there are some YouTube video uploads of these uh, English dubs, and people are commenting in the comment section saying things like, "This is hilarious. They made a classic." Crappy early '90s North American TurboGrafx CD style dub for this game, then I think I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think that that was the goal here, and I don't think because those like they would go on to in the comments they would mention things like Last Alert and Final Zone 2. But the thing is, those games, yeah, they were amateurish, but they were spoken clearly, concisely, and while they did take a great deal of liberty with the translation, and some things aren't translated very well, I will tell you, in those games, they were clear and coherently spoken. Like the story, however bastardized, was clearly and coherently relayed to you by these inexperienced and low quality voice actors. It seems like halfway through in these dubs, the Valis 1 and Valis 4, it seems like in these dubs there are snaps, pops, and clicks, and I can understand that, right? Like the quality doesn't matter, but it's like there are snaps and pops and clicks during the course of a sentence being spoken by one single character, and the voice changes noticeably, unnaturally, suddenly, mechanically, and garbled and everything. It's 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 crazy, man. Like I'm telling you, like if you ever come across these games or this Ramble talking about it, like outside of the non-existent audience, like download them, like play them, really, honestly, like it is mind blowing how strange this is. It really is, man. Like I would have to say that this is some kind of semi-advanced AI that whoever runs the program to translate the games would translate the spoken Japanese speech and then translate it broken and poorly into fractured English. But and I'm not sure if I said this, but the voices sound like the AI, which is what I'm assuming, the assumed AI is trying to speak the lines in English in an English version of the original Japanese actor's or actress's voice. So it doesn't translate it and then speak it in a different person's voice, quote unquote. It's as if, like, if you had John Goodman speaking in both English and French, like, it's trying to do that, right? And I've seen this on the internet, like, they can translate, like, Mark Hamill's dialogue or any actor's dialogue into any language, and they can use AIs to reanimate their lip and facial movements to make it look like they're naturally speaking the language. But I think that this is what's being done here. It's just that it's implemented so poorly to the extent that it just it discombobulates me, you know? Like, wow. Because I was thinking, I'm just like, man, did I waste all that time doing this stupid little translation? Like, because I had never played either of them right up until maybe half an hour ago. And I was thinking, well, give them a shot, see what happens. I was aware that they didn't translate the text and stuff like that. I mean, that can easily be done with Google Translate's camera function, but like it's terrifying. It's threatening. Like that's what that's the general ominous feeling that I'm getting from it. Right? Like I don't want to play any further into either one of these dubs because frankly, and I know it's absurd, but I feel threatened by it. Like, it's so sudden and everything. Like the voices they crackle and they they shriek at you and they change tone and pitch and personality at the drop of a hat, at the snap of a finger. It's wild, man. It's really, really wild. Like I felt like I felt like I was as high as the characters that I was translating in this game. Like oh man, like, it's just wild. Like find these games, preserve them. Like Sprite's Templar tells you to preserve this data. Like it's just crazy, man. Like this has to be what has been done. There can because even if you were trying, you could not make it organically and purposeful, like both organically, like in terms of like the human touch, like human organically and purposefully. You could not make it sound like this if you tried. Like this has to be a soulless, intellectless, programmed machine that is just having information fed into it, and then it just basically vomits it back out. I mean, it's. I am both gladdened and terrified that I experienced this. I'm gonna keep those games that I downloaded. I'm gonna keep them on my hard drive. I'm gonna keep them. Uh, my God, I never. I'll remove them from my RetroArch history. That's for certain. I'm thinking of playing Valis 4, though it is not going to be that dub. In fact, I would rather play the full-on Japanese version straight up over again and then do exactly what I did before. I don't know if I'm just gonna do the lazy way and transcribe the Switch translation, or if I'm gonna continue the humorous thing. It'll be fun to do the humorous thing, but it takes a while to do that. But I am not playing through either of those dubs. Like, this is the reason why I record the video footage for this channel, right? Like, I want to close the chapter that these games play on my life, right? I am just flabbergasted. Like, they're all on CD-ROMs, both of them, and just search for Valis. You'll find them. They don't have any special cover art or anything like that. They just have the original PC Engine released cover art. You can download them right from the website. I know for a while CD-ROMs, you had to go to their Discord, join their Discord, and then you had to like copy like a CD game download ticket. And then you had to go to like a completely separate website and enter it into a search box, and then you'd be able to download it. That was weird. But the thing is that ended a while ago without my knowing. So I mean, it's good that CD-ROMs is sort of back up and running, because poor old ROM hacking is gone now. Though there's Neo-ROM hacking, which I'm hopeful for. I just have no idea why ROM hacking shut down. I mean, it wasn't offering any illegal software. It wasn't offering anything copyrighted. I mean, it was like, this is these translation and these hacks, these are other people's works, right? And it just never seemed to be a problem until, well, like back in August when they decided to shut everything down. So, but yeah, no, I had to add an addendum to this original upload here because it affected me just so deeply, and I have I've never felt this way before about anything because, like, I was actually hoping, as AI was coming down the line and seeing these videos where they can reanimate characters and speak in their voice in a different language, like I wanted it to be used to translate all these video games, maybe even re-encode video games to different platforms, make Diablo 2 run on, say, the Dreamcast or the PS2, because every other game up to that point from Blizzard was on those consoles, right? But no, like I guess that's pretty much it. I mean, this is a new frontier, and this is my first experience with it, and hopefully it'll very much so. Hopefully it'll get better, and I'll keep my faith and hold out hope. So we're heading near the end of the video, so I guess I'll say this has been Skwatters Addendum. Thank you, non-existent audience, and I'll be re-uploading this, and whoever watches it will hear me rant about this with incredulity. But that's it. So I guess I'm just going to say this is Skwatter out, hopefully for the last time, and goodbye. Thank you very much. God bless us all, That's it, guys. I am outies. Peace.